Hello and welcome to the Sewing Studio. Today I'm really excited because we've been lucky enough to be loaned this gorgeous quilt behind me by Pam and Nicky Lintott. Now Pam and Nicky have written lots of books about how to do quilts with jelly rolls, layer cakes. They've got some patterns and we've got lots of these in stock, and they've kindly given me their permission to demonstrate how you make the hexagon in this quilt. So what you're going to need to make this, and I'll just say at this point that the quilt measures 51 by 53, you're going to need a jelly roll or 40 strips across the width of the bolt measuring 2.5 inches. You're going to need ½ metre of border fabric, ½ metre of binding fabric, and this is an absolute must. It is a 60-degree ruler. Now I've used this to make the demonstration block for this video, and I have to say it's a game changer. I've used other rulers. I've used 60 degrees on a straight ruler with the angles on a mat, but nothing makes life as easy as one of these. It's made by Creative Grids, and I'm actually going to get one of these for myself. So let's get started. So all the details of how to make this quilt are in the book with all the measurements. So I'm just going to start with my book just so I can remind myself. And as I say, we're very lucky that they've given us permission to take the pattern from the book. So first of all, I'm going to make one of these hexagon blocks. So you can see here, I've made it with 3 different fabrics, and the fabric that I've used is Jelly Garden. So I've made one of the hexagons, and the quilt has 14 complete hexagons in it, and then it has some half hexes, and it also has some of the triangle pieces, but I'll talk about how it all goes together a bit later on. So the first thing I've done is I have sewn 3 of the strips together, and you press your seams all going in the same direction. Doesn't matter which way, but as long as all your seams are going in one direction. And then the next thing you do is you take this wonderful ruler and you place the 6.5 inch line on the edge of your strips that you've sewn together. Now, what I'm going to say at this point is some machines, even though they've got a 1/4 inch foot, they can be fractionally different. So it may be that yours comes out at 6.25, or it may be that it comes out at 6.5. So it's always worth measuring this width before you make your cut. So I'm just going to measure mine, and mine is just short of 6.5. So that's what I'm going to do with the ruler. It is just a fraction, but that's what I'm going to do. But hopefully you're going to be more accurate than me, and yours is going to be a perfect 6.5. So the book says to put the ruler at the far left because we have to get as many blocks as possible from this. And then you make your cut. And I'm just going to swap hands a minute just to show you. So you've got your first piece. But because I'm left-handed, so your next piece, for all you lovely right-handers out there, you'd put your ruler like that and you just make your cut using your right hand all the way along. But because I'm left-handed, I'm just going to swap it and go the other way. I'll just explain that again to you. So if you're right-handed, you would have put your ruler to the far left, made your cuts to create your triangle, and then you turn your ruler around and you cut again. But I'm going to have to do it the opposite way. so that I've got my cutter in my left hand. So line the edge of the ruler up again. And I cut it. I turn the ruler back so it's upside down, and I go to the 6.5 line, line up the edge of the ruler. And I'm now going to do that all the way along. So now we've got all our pieces cut. And that's good because we've got 9, because that's what we need across the width. And then the next thing we do is we lay them out. So you'll see that they're different, as in I've got a different centre here. I've got a paler centre here, but I've got this dark one that's going to run all the way through like I have with this one. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can cut all your triangle shapes and then you can join them together however you want to join them. So if you did the whole jelly roll and you had them all cut, then you could join different ones together. It's whatever you want to do. But for today, I'm going to do it this way because it makes it easier to demonstrate to you. So the block is going to look like this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to join all of those together to create this block. I'll put that one there so you can see it on the other camera. So I'm going to join them all together to create that block. And then the 3 that are left over, I'm going to join together to create that block. So as I said earlier, we press our seams going in one direction. Now they've been cut into triangles. You can see these seams are going the opposite way. So that makes life easier because we're going to put these seams together and pop a pin in there. And you can just see that they're going opposite. So they will nicely butt up against each other, and that locks that seam. And using a 1/4 of an inch seam, and I'm using a 1/4 of an inch foot today with a guide. And then I'm going to join the other piece to the opposite side. Again, making sure my seams are going in opposite directions. So I've now got half of my hexagon done. And what I like to do is I like to do it in 2 halves. So I'm going to keep that, press that in a moment. And now I'm just going to do the other half. So I've sewn 2 halves together, pop those there, and I'm just going to press these, and then I'm going to join these 2 together as one. And I find it's better to do that rather than keep going round, but it's whatever suits you, it's whatever you're happy with. So I'm just going to the iron now, and I'm going to give this a press. So I'm going to set my seam first of all. And then I'm going to press them all in the same direction. So set your seam. And press them in the same direction. And now I'm going to line these 2 up. So making sure that I've got alternate centres, I'm going to line them up and sew straight down the middle. And again, you'll see here that I've got these seams going in the opposite directions. So I'm just going to nest those together. Align those seams, one going one way, one going the other way. I'm just going back to the machine to sew that together. So now I've got this one all joined together, I'm just going to give it a press, and I've got the other half hexie joined together, I'm going to give that a press too. So here we have our hexagons finished, and we've got our half hexes. And in the book, it says to you that you need to make 14 complete hexagons, and then they're laid out together. And we'll show you this close-up of how they're laid out together. And then you can use the half hexes to finish the quilt off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the quilt behind me to talk to you about how we finish that off using the half hexagons. So I'll just give you a quick example here. So we join them like this. So our quilt would be coming down this way, but occasionally we get a section where we need these smaller pieces. So we haven't joined them all, but as I say, the book will give you full instruction on how to do that. So let's just go to the quilt behind me and we'll talk about it some more. So you can see how this has been put together. This is absolutely beautiful. So your hexes, we've got 3 complete hexes, 1, 2, 3, and then a half hexie top and bottom. And then our next column is 4 complete hexes. So that's how you put it together. You lay it out in columns, and then to finish it off, you've got the quarter ones in the sides. So when it's all joined together, you would then trim it up and square off your sides. Then it's got this beautiful border which was cut at 3.5 inches and finished at 3. And then we've got this lovely binding which matches this pink, and this is cut at 2.5 inches. And then it's been beautifully long arm quilted, and it's just so soft and I love it. The detail on this long arm quilting is just gorgeous. And then it's got a lovely pale florally back. It is gorgeous. So thank you, Pam and Nicky, for loaning it to us. And I hope today's tutorial has inspired you all to have a go at this beautiful quilt. As always, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in the sewing studio.